Welcome to the Jayda InStitches show. Today on the show, I am going to talk granny squares, but not just for blankets. Nope. Granny squares are one of the best motifs you can make in the crochet world. There's a billion different variations, they're really simple to make, and they're a great way to use up your scraps. But granny squares are not just for blankets. And with the gift-giving season coming upon us very soon, if you're anything like me, you've got a list of people that you want to make something wonderful for just in time for the holiday season. And today I'm going to show you 3 granny square projects that you can make well within the time remaining for all of the wonderful people on your list. And they're very different, but they're all based on a linear attachment. So not complicated, not tricky, but really great, and they make wonderful gifts. And that is what we're going to do today on the Jayda InStitches show. The first thing I'm going to show you guys how to do today is a granny square scarf. I made this scarf for myself several years ago now, and it's holding up beautifully because I used acrylic yarn. So this is a great acrylic yarn project. If you've got remnants of your Super Saver acrylic balls lying around, then this is something you can make with all of that. This scarf is 9 squares long, so picture your granny square. It's 9 granny squares long, and you can make your granny squares as big or as small as you like. And these granny squares are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. Each row is a different color, and I often refer to this scarf as my stained glass window scarf. I used a bunch of my favorite colors, sort of in a pulsing pattern, so from a dark red all the way out to 2 shades of green, but I ring them all in black, so each of these squares has a final black border around it. They're all identical, and they're all rimmed in black. Then, you take your squares, lay them out, all in a straight row, sew them together, stitch them together. You can check out our Joining Your Granny Squares tutorial for more help on that. You can join them any way you like. Then, you single crochet all the way around the border, the whole thing to join it together. That's it. And we've got a borders tutorial for Joining Your Granny Squares that you can check out too if you need a little more help with that. What's this, you might ask? It's a curtain tieback, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on our curtains in our kitchen. This is a super granny square project, a small and a quick one, and awfully cute when made in pairs, for any set of curtains that you have trouble tying back any time of the year. These can be made in scraps of yarn that are wool or acrylic or cotton. I've used cotton for this particular project because they wash really well. You can make it in any color to match your decor, and they last forever. Cotton holds up really well next to a window, and you know how windows get a lot of sun. So I would suggest cotton is your best bet for a curtain tieback. And this is how you make one of those. Each of these little granny squares was made using craft cotton yarn, so a worsted weight cotton blend, and I used a 4.25 millimeter hook, but again, you can use whatever hook you're comfortable with. Each of these squares, and there is 5 of them, and remember, I made 2 of these, so you need 10 for a nice matching set. Each square is 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and they are all sewn together, just like the scarf, and they all have a single crocheted border, just like the scarf. The only difference is that in the top 2 corners, you chain about 7 to 10 chains right at the corner. So you chain out and then just attach it. You can even do that right at the end with a separate piece of yarn if you have to. You don't have to work it into your border, but you can if you're savvy. And those will allow you to hook each corner onto the little hook around your curtain. And the last project I'm going to show you quickly today is this really awesome mini granny square cuff bracelet. It's made with 5 different little granny squares, and it just buttons up. For this project, you need 5 little tiny granny squares. Each of these granny squares is only 2 rows. So there's your center and then your second color. You need 2 rows, only 5. This is by far the quickest, shortest project. You need a button, and this is best made using embroidery floss or this little craft cotton floss, or even some sort of random small skinny scraps of stuff you've got lying around. This really, really thin yarn makes for a very pretty bracelet. And it's almost exactly like putting together the curtain tieback. You sew all 5 of your squares together, single crochet a simple little border around it, and add a little 5 or 6 chain loop. You can work it into your border or add it on afterwards. It's entirely up to you and your comfort level. Then you sew a button on the other side, and voila! A button cuff bracelet. Super cute and really great for that hard to buy 14. So there you go, guys. That is 3 really neat granny square projects, all very simple and all based on a single linear line of granny squares. Big granny squares, medium granny squares, and insy-binsy little granny squares. This is good in cotton or wool or acrylic, whatever scraps you've got lying around that feel comfortable next to your skin. The curtain tiebacks are probably best made in cotton because they wash really well and they'll stand up to that sunlight that comes in the window. And anything you're going to put on your arm is best using bracelet making materials. So crochet floss or embroidery floss or any of those pretty little bracelet making flosses and satin threads that you might have lying around. You can crochet with them too. Just use a very tiny hook. Oh yeah, the hook. I used a 2mm hook for the bracelet, but you can use whatever hook size is comfortable for you and that tiny little thread. So that is it for today. Those are 3 simple granny square projects that you can totally work in before the gift giving season, and they're pretty awesome for just about anybody. You've got maybe your mom on your list, or somebody's daughter on your list, or your best friend, or your sister, or even some guys. Everybody needs a scarf. That's it for today, everybody. I hope you had fun. Please let me know if you liked this, and we will do other granny square project videos down the road. And if you have comments or questions, as always, feel free to leave them down below. I love to see what you guys have to say, and I read everything. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you again really, really soon. Until then, stay crafty, have fun with your granny squares, and we will see you the next time on the Jayda InStitches show. Bye, everybody!